Hi, this is Wishop. Welcome to your weekly reading going from Monday, August 10th through Sunday, August 16th. I have kind of a loud clock in here and creaky floors, so we'll see if you like that. This week I decided to do all oracle cards. Let me talk about the astrology briefly. Jupiter is going into Virgo on the 12th. That is such a big thing in terms of the way Jupiter, the great benefic, brings blessings into the sign where it's going, and it gives a little thank you kiss on the way from the sign it's leaving, that wherever Virgo falls in your chart, maybe it's your rising sign or your moon, whatever house it's in for you, that's a place where Jupiter is going to expand and be looking to branch out. So if you haven't watched videos on that, find astrologers you like. If you look at Jupiter into Virgo in August, you'll find tons of videos, and find somebody or several somebodies that you vibe with, because that's pretty important stuff and worth paying attention to and kind of keeping in mind. So let me talk about these sort of other astrology for the week. The moon, which I'm always watching because it moves, is going from Cancer into Leo, and on Sunday it's going to enter Virgo. The deal is we've got a new moon this week on the 14th, and it's a new moon in Leo, and the sun is in Leo, as you probably already know, and Venus is retrograde in Leo. And Mars, let me see here, when is Mars coming? Mars is going to be, there we go. Actually today, Mars is leaving Cancer, where it was sort of bubbling stuff up from the watery depths in sort of unpredictable kind of outbursts, so to speak. And it's heading into Leo too, which it's much more comfortable with, because that's a fellow fire sign, or it's a fire planet in a fire sign, so all is well. But that also is that idea that we're turning into a time of taking action, of new directions, that the stops and the standstills and the sort of dark, heavy energy, like being stuck a little bit in tar, all of that is releasing. And you've probably heard about new moon intentions. That's where on the new moon you make a list of intentions for the coming month. And on this new moon, because it's in Leo, and Leo is about personal presentation, about the face you show the world, about your creative expression. It can be about your children. It can be about your pride, the things you take pride in, your self-confidence. This is an excellent time, because Mars is now in Leo too, to make those intentions and really see them move forward. And I think it's at such a critical point, because you have redefined who you are in some way or another. You've dropped away some things, let those bones get picked clean, as we talked about last week, and you know at the core of yourself that you're different than you were. The I Ching really points to that this week. The I Ching is, of course, another oracle. Let me hold this up and hopefully it's in focus here. The card for this week, based on the dice roll, is 32, duration. It can also be called persistence. But I don't want you to think of this as like endurance through hardship, although you've certainly done that. This is more the idea, because it's thunder over wind, it's the idea of firmness and flexibility together. You can see this mountain is still the mountain, but it changes its appearance, it changes its character based on the seasons. And that's what you're doing. Leo and Venus retrograde in Leo is going to ask, what is the face you're showing the world? What gives you delight to show the world? What makes you feel beautiful? What do you want to have around you? What people do you want to have around you? Because you now know at your core who you are. You are the mountain. So now you can decide, do you want to wear a cap of snow? Do you want to be covered in glittery unicorns? It's really whatever you like, because you have redefined at your heart who you are. So Let me read this card briefly. It says stability, a deep commitment. I don't know if this is in focus for you. Let's see if this kind of is. A deep commitment, strengthening, stability, maturity, continuity, and endurance. So this is a time when you can make a commitment to something that's going to be lasting like the mountain. Some new commitment is going to be able to take hold in a very powerful way, but it should be something that's very personally important. This isn't about a commitment for someone else. This is a commitment for you, for your passions, for your loves, for the things that you want to bring to the world and the face you want to show to the world. But this is a time when commitments like that, possibly at the new moon on the 14th, can really be powerful. So these crystals for the week I chose sort of go from the lower to the upper chakras. This is a honey calcite. I chose this raw aquamarine. This particular one is very green and not as blue, and I sort of think of it as heart chakra, even though it's also throat chakra. And I sort of decided I wanted to add in this green fluorite, which turns out to have made sense later on. This is angelite, so you can think of that as dealing with the upper chakras. So here's like the heart chakra, here are the lower chakras, here's the upper chakras. So if you want to keep that in mind and see if one of these cards has special meaning for you on the way you're going to use it. So I also pulled the Lenormand cards for the week. So we're going to deal with those as the houses. And I don't want them to scare you, but they might. Just remember, you're the mountain. You're the lion. You don't have to be worried about this stuff because you've learned how to deal with it. But I think maybe in some ways it's to be expected. So we got, here we go, snake and the whip and the letter. Okay. When we're dealing with the snake down here in the lower chakras, I think we're dealing with your deep inner wisdom. Some people, there are times when this means a snaky person or a venomous person, but it can also relate, because all these cards have multiple meanings, to your deep wisdom, that sacred feminine, that real deep down lower chakra knowing. The whip is here in sort of the position of the heart chakra, the central position. And a whip can mean a futile argument, that somebody is giving you static about something, but it isn't going anywhere. And the letter is a message, usually. And in this case, I think it's a divine message, from your upper chakras. Possibly you would feel it from the angels. Excuse me. So what I think is happening here in these cards, and then we'll get to the ones below, which are from the Enchanted Map, is these cards are saying that because of this development you've done, and you're going out and you're showing the world in this very leonine way, right? You are going out and you're showing the world this new you, which you have become. And you may get some static about it, especially from people who are close to you because they've known you a long time and they think they know what you're all about, and they don't understand why you're changing maybe, or how important this is to you. There's no point in arguing. So when I saw this card in the heart position, I thought, oh, that's why I ended up choosing 2 crystals, because you need to really reinforce your heart and be true to your heart. And then you need to listen to the wisdom of your lower chakra on how to deal with that. And from your upper chakra, your divine messages, because it could be your lower chakra takes your feet and turns them the other direction, that you just back out of that conversation, because there really is no point. They can argue with the mountain all day, but you are now transformed. So we can't put the genie back in the bottle, and you shouldn't want to. You really shouldn't want to. You're busy showing yourself to the world, and my guess is you're going to get some pretty positive response from various places. There's a siren now. I don't know if you can hear it. You're going to get a lot of positive responses. So don't let the couple negative ones that you get, don't let them overwhelm all the great feedback that you're getting, because you're going to get some really good stuff and it's going to be really beautiful. So just realize that, you have changed in some important ways, and those changes are going to upset the status quo for some people. That's okay. You're the mountain. You can outlast it. You are wise, and you can also depend on messages from the divine to help you understand what the next move is, and to be as compassionate as you possibly can with the people that you're dealing with, understanding that their criticism or their objections may not be coming from a very rational place, but they're coming from a place of panic or upset or just discombobulation. So anyway, let's move on to the Colette Baron Reid Enchanted Map cards and see what we've got in these positions. Let's put these up here. Oops. Here we go. And okay. Very good. Okay. Oh, look at this. Okay. All in reverse, which I think is very interesting. So 10 is the card of rock bottom. It's in reverse. This is the past, and we were talking about that last week. You're hitting rock bottom and really dealing with the deepest of the darkest of the whatever is, that's past. So no matter what you might hear, the idea is to present the face forward that you want, to go with those new moon intentions, to be projecting forward, not to be looking back, because you've made the changes you've made the choices you've made. Now move forward in pride and happiness. 44, strength. So you can see that she is very strong here. She's balancing, she's holding up the world, she's holding up the tree, but can you see what a strain this looks like? I mean, she's strong, but it looks like she's holding up the world. It's like, you don't need to do that. And you don't need to armor yourself against the opinions of other people. You're called for inner strength, but only in knowing who you are. You don't have to fight with anybody. You don't have to argue with anybody. And you don't have to worry about holding up the world, making everything okay for everybody else in the world. They need to do that themselves. They need to make their own world okay, responding to the changes within you. But it's not your job to do all of that. So don't feel that you need to. Use your heart chakra to just nourish good feelings about yourself, to wish people well, but you don't have to stay around, at least not right now, and take it if it's difficult. Okay, so then we have deep freeze. Wow, this looks pretty. Look at this. And isn't this funny? Because we have a lion on this card, right? So the lion in this case is in the deep freeze, but this card is in reverse. You are going to know in this upper chakra divine message way that you are not in the deep freeze. You are the lion in the heat of Leo. You are in your glory, and you are going to get very clear messages that you have unlocked, the icebergs in your soul, and that you are moving forward with great grace and with great fire, and Mars is going to help you do that. And I think that the more you think about those things, the more you ought to be able to forgive those few less than excited responses you get, because the divine messages, the messages from the heavens, the messages, straight down to your soul, are letting you know you're doing great. You have so much to be proud of. You have transformed yourself. It wasn't easy. You've still got things ahead of you that you might want to change or to challenge yourself about. But the fact is, you've done something great, and this should be your time to shine. So to the best of your ability, please enjoy it. Please rock on with your bad but getting better everyday selves. Bye.